Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Comedy on this Sunday with episodes of George Burns and Gracie Allen, Jack Benny, also My Friend Irma. We'll also have an episode of Claudia, another episode in our Christmas serial, Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon, and we'll wrap it all up with coming close to the end of the Pan American Highway series of programs of Superman. That's all coming up here on this Sunday. This is the 15th day of December, 350th day of the year, 16 days left till we get to the end of the year. Christmas just a few days away. Bill of Rights became law on this date in 1791 when it was ratified by the Virginia legislature. James Naismith introduced the first version of basketball, 13 rules, a peach basket nailed to either end of his school's gymnasium, and 2 teams of 9 players. Gone with the Winds premiered in Atlanta on this date in 1939.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Vivian Lee as Scarlett O'Hara, Clark Gable as Rhett Butler. Premiering on ABC's Disneyland on this date in 1954, Fess Parker as legendary frontiersman Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, a green estate in the land of the free. Raised in the woods so's he knew every tree, and killed him a bar when he was only 3. Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier. He fought single-handed through the Injun War, till the creeks was whipped and peace was in store. And while he was handling this risky chore, he made himself a legend forevermore. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier.
His co-star Georgie Russell in the 5-part miniseries, portrayed by none other than Buddy Ebsen. The song first recorded by Bill Hayes, as you heard there, before Fess Parker's version hit the charts, as well as a version by Tennessee Ernie Ford. All 3 versions made the record charts. Richard Paul Pavlik, arrested on this date in 1960 for attempting to blow up and assassinate President John F. Kennedy only 4 days earlier. In Jerusalem on this date in 1961, Adolf Eichmann, sentenced to death after being found guilty of 15 criminal charges, including charges of crimes against humanity, crimes against the Jewish people, and membership of an outlawed organization. Topping Billboard's album charts on this date in 1962, an album that would sell an unprecedented 7.5 million albums, more than any album, much less a comedy album. It was a parody of the occupants of the White House, the Kennedys.
This shows a rate of economic growth, and therefore it is not with too much concern that I say a raise from 25 to 35 is not completely out of accord when compared with the current financial deficit on hand. Now, I trust that answers your question about your weekly allowance, Caroline. Next question.
Yes. I should like to ask a question about...
Would you stand, please?
Yes, I should like to ask a question about...
Would you identify yourself, please?
I'm your wife. I should like to ask the following question.
No, speak English, Jackie.
The Grammy-winning album The First Family spawned a sequel, which peaked at number 4 on the record charts. Kennedy himself said to have given copies of the albums as Christmas gifts, and once greeted a Democratic National Committee group by saying, "Von Mita was busy tonight, so I came myself." At one press conference, Kennedy asked if the album had produced annoyment or enjoyment. He jokingly responded, "I listened to Mr. Mita's record, and frankly, I thought it sounded more like Teddy than it did me, so now he's annoyed." Upon Kennedy's assassination, the producers had both albums pulled from sales and had all unsold copies destroyed. Both albums out of print until 1999, when they were reissued on compact disc. In 1965, Gemini 6A, crewed by Wally Schirra and Thomas Stafford, launched from Cape Kennedy, Florida. Also on this date in 1965, the release of The Sound of Music. Samoa became a member of the United Nations on this date in 1976. In 1978, President Carter announced the U.S. would recognize Red China, the People's Republic of China, and cut off all relations with Taiwan.
The United States of America and the People's Republic of China have agreed to recognize each other and to establish diplomatic relations as of January the 1st, 1979. The United States recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as a sole legal government of China. Within this context, the people of the United States will maintain cultural, commercial, and other unofficial relations with the people of Taiwan.
A controversial measure on this place in 1978. After withdrawing over the Donna Rice affair, Gary Hart decided to resuscitate his 1987 presidential campaign on this date.
Sometimes the best thing to do is what you feel you must do. I believe I represent a brand of leadership that draws its strength from its independence, that's experienced in politics, but that is not purely political. I have a sense of new direction and a set of new ideas that our country needs that no one else represents. And I intend to resume my presidential campaign to let the people decide.
Well, the people decided, and Hart would withdraw again in March of 1988. American rapper Dr. Dre released his highly influential debut album, The Chronic, on this date in 1992, often labeled as the first ever G-Funk album. Netscape Navigator 1.0 released on this date in 1994, the predecessor to Firefox. Netscape Navigator was a commercial program, Firefox open source. In 2001, the Leaning Tower of Pisa reopened after 11 years and $27 million spent to stabilize it without fixing that famous tilt, or lean. The late Senator Strom Thurmond's family on this date in 2003 acknowledged Essie Mae Washington Williams' claim that she was Thurmond's illegitimate mixed-race daughter. In 2004, American telecommunications giant Sprint Corp and Nextel Communications announced they would merge the deal $35 million. And in 2005, the introduction of the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor into Air Force active service. Among those who left this mortal coil on this date in history include Sioux leader Sitting Bull, musicians Fats Waller, Glenn Miller, Walt Disney, Chill Wills, the actor, Jan Pierce, the tenor, Oral Roberts of Oral Roberts University, the evangelist, director, producer, screenwriter Blake Edwards, and actress Joan Fontaine, all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays of those who have also left this mortal coil: Nero, born on this date in history. The architect of the Eiffel Tower, Gustav Eiffel, born on this date. Oil tycoon J. Paul Getty. Musician Stan Kenton, artistry in rhythm. Pianist Buddy Cole, actor Jeff Chandler, disc jockey Alan Freed, singer Jerry Wallace, and actor Tim Conway, all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Dave Clark of the Dave Clark 5, 85 years old today.
1964, number one.
I'm feeling glad all over, yes, I'm glad all over, baby, I'm glad all over, so glad you're mine. I'll make you happy.
Glad all over, the big number one hit for the Dave Clark 5. Dave Clark, 85 years old today, as is the Supremes' original Cindy Bird song. She was in Fridays on ABC, and Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Melanie Chartoff, 76 today. From Miami Vice, Don Johnson, 75. She was Supergirl in the Supergirl movie, and she also played in the TV show. Helen Slater, 61. From the OC, Adam Brody is 45. Pro wrestler Eric Young, 45. From Boardwalk Empire and Netflix Daredevil, Charlie Cox, no relation, 42. From Grey's Anatomy, Camilla Luddington is 41. And from Knocked Up and Euphoria, Maude Apatow is 27. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 15th day of December as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
And we'll start off this Sunday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with George Burns and Gracie Allen from 82 years ago. Is Gracie really going to leave George? We'll see.
Americans have always been noted for their know-how. And you young men in search of a career, you can put this practical talent to excellent use in one of our nation's many engineering schools. At the present time, we need engineers. We need them to maintain our scientific and engineering superiority. So look to your future, to America's future. Plan now to become an engineer.
We continue in this Sunday edition of Classic Radio Theater, an episode of George Burns and Gracie Allen. This goes back 82 years to December 15th, 1942.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap. Well, it's Tuesday night again. Time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, their guests, Herbert Marshall, Jimmy Cash, and Paul Whiteman and his music. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Well, today, Gracie has a luncheon date with her girlfriend, Tootsie Sagwell. We find them now at the Romney Village Gypsy Tea Room. Special luncheon, 45 cents. Tea leaves red.
Oh, isn't this place simply marvelous, Tootsie? So quaint, so gypsy-ish.
Yes, and I just love this gypsy food. Isn't it delicious?
Oh, wonderful. I've never tasted such corned beef hash.
My pig's knuckles are divine, too.
Pardon, madame. I am the Swami. Would the ladies care to have their fortune told?
Oh, Gracie, let's.
Oh, I'd love to. How much do you charge?
Oh, there is no charge, madame. You have merely to order a cup of our gypsy tea, and I will read the leaves absolutely free.
Oh, wonderful. How much is the tea?
$3 a cup, madame.
$3? Oh, my goodness, we're lucky gypsies don't read coffee grounds.
Here is the tea, madame. Now then, I shall start with the fortune of the young lady.
Me?
Perhaps I should start with the pretty one.
Oh, well, I would have lost anyway.
Well, come on, Mr. Swami. Tell my fortune.
Very well, madame. I see a man in your life. No, wait. It is not a man. Yes, it is a man. What is it?
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Tootsie? He sees George already.
Yeah.
And this man's name, it starts with a G.
Well, now that's uncanny. How on earth did you know?
The leaves are infallible, madame.
Oh, I just can't wait. Read my fortune now, Mr. Swami.
Very well, madame. Oh, my. I see trouble for you in the future. It is something about taxes, I think. Income taxes.
Isn't man is amazing.
Isn't he, though? And I know he's right because there's a letter from the tax department sticking right out of your handbag.
Gracie, you know, you're so lucky you're married to George. You don't have to worry about income tax.
I know. Oh, gee, Tootsie, I hope you get married soon so you have a dependent, too.
Mr. Swami, what else do you see in the teacup?
I see someone coming into your life in the very near future, madam. It is a man.
Oh, that's nice. A man?
Yes, a handsome man, and well-to-do. He will cross your path soon.
Oh, Tootsie, isn't that thrilling? Isn't that wonderful? What's his name, Mr. Swami?
His name? I cannot see his name.
Oh, just tell me the initials of this handsome man.
Handsome man. H.M.
H.M.
I don't know any H.M., Gracie.
Well, neither do I, Tootsie. Except, oh, gee, could that be possible? You, Tootsie Sagwell, ruling over all those people?
Gracie, what are you talking about?
Everybody bowing? Oh, no, of course I forgot.
Forgot that?
His Majesty is already married. I'm home. George, put down that Western magazine and answer me. I said hello.
Oh, howdy, gal. Come into the corral and set a spell.
I wish you'd stop reading cowboy love tales.
But, sweetheart, it's the best magazine on the market.
Well, maybe so, but it's doing awful things to our married life. Gee, I'll never forget when I stopped at that perfume counter at the May Company. You said, "You don't need that there stuff, gal. You already smell like a newborn calf to me."
Well, that's a compliment. Oklahoma Tex always says that to Lucy.
Oh, forget Oklahoma Tex.
Forget Oklahoma Tex.
Forget him.
I'm crazy about him.
You know, Tootsie Sagwell and I had our fortunes told, and a dream man is coming into her life. Isn't that exciting? George, put down that magazine.
Yeah? Okay, I was listening.
Well, what did I say?
That you bought a new hat.
That's not what I said.
Well, it never missed before.
I said I'd been to a fortune teller.
Well, that's nice.
See, George, do you know any wealthy, glamorous, fascinating man whose initials are H.M.?
Yes.
Who?
Harpo Marx.
Oh, George, he wouldn't do. A girl couldn't be happy with a man who just sits there and honks at her. Anybody else?
H.M. Well, Herbert Marshall.
Herbert Marshall. Yeah, he's wealthy, glamorous, and fascinating. Yeah, that's he. Oh, thank you, George.
Gracie, what's this all about?
Oh, he must be the H.M. the fortune teller was talking about. The lover chosen by fate, the dream man.
He told you about a lover? A dream man? Gracie, I always thought that I was your...
Only a man like Herbert Marshall could make up for all those dull, monotonous years.
Well, Gracie, granted, I'm not...
George, you just don't realize that a girl can be starved for romance.
Starved?
Oh, it's marvelous, George, just marvelous. Well, I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Upstairs to put on my very best dress.
Gracie.
And then I'm coming right down and I'm going over to Herbert Marshall's house and fix up a date.
Gracie, come back here. Please come back. Gracie! Gracie!
George, I heard you yelling clear out on the porch. What's the matter?
Well, it's Gracie, Bill. She's leaving me. She said I wasn't attractive. She said I wasn't a dream man.
Gracie said that?
Yes.
Well, gee, and imagine those millions of people who think of her as a nitwit.
Don't be funny. My wife is leaving me for Herbert Marshall. Step aside. I'm going upstairs to break this up.
Oh, no, George. That's exactly the wrong thing to do.
It is?
Oh, sure. Now, let me tell you how a friend of mine handled the situation when his wife left him.
How?
Well, he put a notice in the personal column of every newspaper, and it said, "Darling wife, all is forgiven. Come home to hubby, and he'll buy you Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than the finest Castile soaps. Pure as an angel."
Oh, Bill,
well, George, it worked. It not only worked for my friend, but 10,000 other wives came home to their husbands. They did.
Bill, you're worse than I am. Look, Bill, I'm going to talk to Gracie.
No, now wait, George. I don't say that plan will get Gracie back from Herbert Marshall. In fact, I don't think it will.
You don't?
Oh, no, you'll have to go further. You'll have to say that because Swan is purer than the finest Castiles, you can use it to help safeguard your hands when you wash dishes or do any other soap and water job that comes along. And those mild, pure Swan suds will really get your work done, too. Just put that in the personal column.
Oh, fine friend you are. Talking about Swan, and my heart is breaking.
Well, I'm sorry, George. And believe me, my heart is breaking for you. Breaking like a bar of Swan, which you know you can break in two with an easy twist of the wrist.
Out.
And use one half in the kitchen for your dishes and house cleaning.
Out. Gee, he drives me crazy.
And the other half in the bathroom for your hands and face or for your tub and shower.
Out. Gee, even Bill hinted that I'm not so attractive anymore. Maybe I don't smile enough. I'll bet very few people know I've got dimples.
How do I look, George? Do you think you'll be impressed?
Gracie, are you really going through with this?
Well, yes, why shouldn't I?
Well, okay, before you go, answer just one question.
All right.
What's Herbert Marshall got that I haven't got?
Oh, well, George, look, I'm in a hurry now. Let's discuss that sometime when we've got the whole day together.
The boys and the 6 hits and a miss woke up singing this morning, and what do you think they had in their mind? It was, I had the craziest dream.
In my dreams, the strangest things appear. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I had the craziest dream last night. Yes, I did. I never dreamt it could be, yet there you were, in love with me. I found your lips close to mine, so I kissed you, and you didn't mind it at all. But when I'm awake, such a break never happened. How long can a guy go on dreaming like I? If there's a chance that you care, then please say you do. Baby, say it and make my craziest dreams come true. Gracie has rushed over to Herbert Marshall's house to inform him of his romantic future. She knocks at the door.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, do you remember me?
Of course I do. You're Gracie Allen. How's, oh, isn't that annoying? I know your husband very well, but I can't recall his first name.
Well, it's George.
Yes, so it is. Imagine me forgetting good old George Allen.
Oh, Mr. Marshall, it's George Burns.
Oh, yes, of course, son.
I guess you got George confused with my father.
Well, that is a possibility. Won't you, sit down?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you remember me, Mr. Marshall. I don't like to ask favors of strangers unless I know them.
I see. You have a favor to ask?
Well, yes. I went to a fortune teller today, and he said you're Tootsie Sagwell's dream man.
Tootsie Sagwell?
Uh-huh.
Is that a woman?
It certainly is. Here, this is her picture.
I repeat, is that a woman?
Well, just think, out of 100 million men, the fortune teller picked you for Tootsie. Isn't that thrilling?
Blood-curdling. But, Gracie, fortunately for me, I do not believe in fortune tellers.
Well, how can you say that? Why, a fortune teller once told my mother that she was going to take a trip across water.
And did she?
The very next day. She was scrubbing the kitchen floor and she fell over the pail.
Amazing.
But, Mr. Marshall, you were meant for Tootsie. Fate.
No, but Gracie.
Oh, you and Tootsie have so much in common. She's an actress, too.
Really?
Oh, really? At our club last week, she did an impersonation of Gypsy Rose Lee.
Oh, please.
Oh, it was so exciting. The orchestra played the strip polka, and Tootsie came out, and all the men in the audience yelled, "Keep it on! Keep it on!"
Yeah, I can see their point. No, Grace, I simply can't have a love affair with this Miss Sagwell.
You won't be Tootsie's dream man?
Frankly, I have neither the time nor the courage.
But, Mr. Marshall, the fortune teller...
Gracie, it would take more than a fortune teller to make me go out with a creature like that.
You'd need a more important reason.
I certainly would.
Oh. Well, then I guess I'll have to tell you the truth.
The truth?
Yes. I'll bear my shame. I hoped I'd never have to tell this to anybody.
Good heavens, what is it?
Well, I want you to take Tootsie away from George.
What? You mean George and this Tootsie?
Yes. Oh, please don't tell anybody, especially George.
Well, I can't believe it.
Oh, well, don't blame Tootsie. It's not her fault. George pursues her.
The bounder. How can you live with a man? He's a cad.
Yeah, I know. But he's the cad I'm used to.
No, don't cry, Gracie.
Oh, dear. Nobody will help me.
Wait, Gracie, I'll help you. I'll do it. I'll make love to this Sagwell person if it'll save your home.
Oh, thank you. I'll arrange everything.
No, goodbye, child. That beast doesn't deserve a sweet, innocent girl like you.
Yeah, I know. Goodbye.
Gracie!
Why, George, what are you doing here?
I followed you. What were you doing in Herbert Marshall's house?
It's a shortcut cut to the market.
A shortcut to the market?
Well, you're getting so nervous.
Gracie!
Well, all right, I'll tell you. We just arranged a little date for tonight.
Well, that settles it. I'm going in there and tell that wolf a thing or two.
George!
Yes? Oh, it's you.
You're darn right it's me. My wife was just here. Do you deny it?
Deny it? Why, of course not.
And do you deny you just arranged a date?
No.
Bart, as one friend to another, what's your opinion of a man who'd break up a home?
George, let's face it. You're a complete and utter stinker.
I'm a stinker?
Unquestionably. I've seen the woman who's involved in this affair, George. Is she worth all this?
She is to me. Why, there isn't another one like her in the whole world.
That I will guarantee. Don't be a fool, George. Give her up.
Never.
But look at it from Gracie's side a moment. She's too nice to have her life ruined. She deserves only the best there is.
Brother, are you conceited?
Now, George, what do you see in this Tootsie Sagwell?
Tootsie Sagwell? What's she got to do with it?
Well, aren't you in love with Tootsie?
In love with Tootsie? No. I go steady with Boris Karloff.
No, but Gracie said she wanted me to take Tootsie away from you. That's why she arranged a date for us.
Gracie arranged a date for you and Tootsie?
Yes.
Oh, now I get it. This is another scheme of Gracie's to help Tootsie. You see, Tootsie is dying to get a husband.
Well, she's insane to ask for volunteers. She ought to try selective service. Anyway, this lets me out of the date.
Now, wait a minute, Bart. I can't spoil this date for Gracie. She'll never forgive me. You've got to go through with it.
But, George, look at that picture.
Bart, it's only one night out of your life, and it'll save my neck.
Oh, well, if it means that much to you.
Oh, thanks, Bud. I knew you'd do it. See you tonight.
You don't suppose Tootsie will make love to me, do you?
Well, she might.
Oh, murder. Now I know what a commando has to go through.
Well, Jimmy Cash has cooked himself up a mighty tasty arrangement of I Cared a Little Bit Less. And here it is, Okay, Jimmy.
Maybe I haven't a chance. Maybe you don't even care. Baby, is this a romance or a one-sided love affair? I wouldn't feel so lonely for someone I love and adore if I cared a little bit less and you cared a little bit more. I wouldn't cry my heart out for kisses I miss at your door if I cared a little bit less and you cared a little bit more. It all would be so simple if you were me and I were you. You'd realize what love is and you could see my point of view. So, darling, time's a-wasting when heaven is only next door. 'Cause I'll never care any less. Won't you care a little bit
Well, Tootsie ought to be here any minute, Mr. Marshall. Aren't you thrilled?
I've got goose pimples, if that's what you mean.
Oh, I hear footsteps on the walk. She's here.
Now, Bud, act like you're glad to see her.
George, I'm as hammy as the next, but frankly, I'm not that good an actor.
Here she is.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, I must say you're better looking than your picture, Tootsie.
Huh?
Oh, no, that isn't Tootsie. That's Bill Goodwin. You can tell them apart easily, Mr. Marshall. Tootsie's taller.
Oh, I see.
Bill, this is Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Oh, how do you do? Herbert Marshall? George, isn't this the wolf who's trying to wreck your home?
Well, Bill, it's all
now,
right.
quiet, George.
Well, but
this is what friends are for, to handle these affairs of honor. Mr. Marshall, I challenge you to a duel with pistols.
Well, I better warn you, I'm the best pistol shot in the state.
Oh, well, I challenge you with swords.
I happen to be an expert swordsman.
Oh. Well, I challenge you to find a purer soap than Swan. Women have long considered Castile soaps the standard of purity, and Swan is even purer than the finest Castiles. Money can't buy a purer soap.
Look, Bill, you don't have to worry about Herbert Marshall taking Gracie away from me.
Oh,
You see, the
George,
whole
I'm
thing-
not thinking of you.
Oh.
You can find another woman. Possibly. I'm thinking of the babies.
Babies? What babies?
All babies, Mr. Marshall. Swan's great for bathing them. Because after all, if Swan is purer than the finest Castiles, well, it's bound to be kind to even a baby's tender skin.
Bill, Herbert Marshall bathes very few babies.
Well, all right.
Probably doesn't bathe over 3 or 4 babies a year.
Well, all right,
He
George,
and
but
Ronald Coleman put together.
Well, all right.
And you can throw in Lawton.
But remember, if Swan is kind to a baby's tender skin, then it must be swell for anybody's hands and face, anybody's complexion, anybody's bath or shower.
Mr. Goodwin, a few moments ago you were talking about a duel. What happened?
Duel? Oh, yes, forget it. I accept your apology. Well, goodbye, Mr. Marshall.
Ah, eccentric fellow, isn't he?
Yes, we love him, too. Oh, goodness, I wish Tootsie'd get here. You must be all on edge, Mr. Marshall.
I definitely am.
She's probably having trouble with the new makeup I suggested for her nose. Blue, green, yellow crayon.
On her nose?
Well, yes. I got the idea from an article on camouflage. Those colors will make a 16-inch gun fade into the background.
Believe me, Bart, it'll be an improvement.
This must be Tootsie now. Come in.
Gracie, darling!
Tootsie Sagwell.
Oh, Gracie, you said you had a surprise for me. What is it?
Well, here it is. Your dream man, H.M., Herbert Marshall.
Herbert Marshall? Oh, he's beautiful!
George, I think I'm about to faint.
Buck up, kid.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Marshall? I'm so glad you're mine, you lovely, lovely man.
Miss Sagwell, please put me down.
Do I have to, Gracie?
Well, Tootsie, I guess you'd better. Here, put him on the sofa.
All right, there. You comfy, Herbert?
Do you realize you're sitting on my lap?
Oh, sure.
Oh, George, turn out all the lights. I just know they want to snuggle.
No. I beg of you, don't turn them off.
No, leave them on. My dream man and I want to look at each other. Look at me, Herbert.
George.
Yes, Bart.
You may turn them off.
You're safer this way.
Miss Sagwell, you realize you're squeezing me very hard.
Oh, sure.
Well, I wish you wouldn't. It's rather warm in this room, isn't it?
Kiss me, Herbert.
I'm getting warmer. George, is this house heated by an oil burner?
Yes, it is, Bart.
Kiss me, Herbert.
George, you should really cut your thermostat down to a temperature of 65 degrees. The government is asking all homeowners to do that in order to prevent a more serious shortage of fuel oil this winter.
Well, that's right. I'll do that. Anything else you'd like to mention?
No, that's all.
Kiss me, Herbert.
As I was saying, you should put the thermostat as low as possible at night and leave it there until morning.
Kiss me, Herbert.
And keep it low in the daytime if the family is going to be out.
Kiss her, Herbert.
And never heat any bedrooms.
Kiss me, Herbert.
And you can save 10% of your fuel by drawing all your window shades and drapes at sundown.
Herbert?
Yes, Miss Sagwell?
That's enough courtship. Let's get married.
George, may I see you a moment, old man?
Sure, Bart. What is it?
George, you've simply got to get me out of this. That woman, and I use the term loosely, has a gleam in her eye that I don't like.
Well, gee, Bart, you're an actor. Make up an exit.
Well, I'll try. Oh, Miss Sagwell.
Yes, Angel Pie.
Oh, me. Miss Sagwell, before we go any further, there is something you must know about me.
What?
I have a past, Miss Sagwell. I have lived.
Is that all? Oh, it should happen to me.
No, you don't understand. It all happened when I was but a lad. What did I know of the city or its evil ways? Then she came into my life.
Who?
She.
Oh, her.
Yes. It wasn't my fault, I swear it. How was I to know there was anything more than harmless 7-Up in that glass?
Oh, she didn't.
You don't know her.
Who?
Her.
Oh, she.
Yes. Gad, how I hated myself in the morning.
Women are beasts.
Yes, they are.
Well, you'll never find a nicer beast than Tootsie.
Oh, Herbert, forget your past. All I want to hear are those 3 little words that'll tell me how you feel about me.
Very well.
Say them.
Goodbye, Miss Sagwell.
Herbert!
Mr. Marshall, come back.
Stop it. Herbert Marshall never had any idea of marrying Tootsie. And goodbye.
Oh, dear. I don't know what.
Oh, no, don't cry, Tootsie. There isn't any reason to cry.
I can't help it. I can't get a feller.
Fortune tellers are never wrong, Tootsie. Someday your HM will come along.
I won't even be here if he does. They'll probably throw me in jail on account of my income tax.
Oh, no, they won't, Tootsie. Let's see that letter from Washington.
Here. I was just born under an unlucky star, that's all.
Tootsie! He's come into your life, HM. The fortune teller was right.
Huh?
Well, look at the signature on this letter. Henry Morgenthau.
George and Gracie will be back in just a second. So all I have time to say is this. When you buy Swan, you not only get a soap that's purer than the finest Castile soaps, you get a soap that gives you all the suds you need for any soap and water job in the house. Faster than other white floating soaps. Use Swan for the dishes. Use it for your hankies, hose, and undies. Use it in place of easily wasted packaged soaps. Use it in place of expensive toilet soaps. Yes, and use Swan knowing that it really is purer than the finest Castile. Well, here they are, George and Gracie.
Gracie, this is no time of the night to bother Herbert Marshall.
But this is important. Hello.
Oh, no, not again.
Well, I just wanted to tell you that poor Tootsie can't sleep a wink.
Well, surely I'm not responsible for that.
Oh, yes, you are. You left our house in such a hurry you forgot your derby hat.
Well?
Well, Tootsie's keeping it under her pillow.
Come on.
The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in again next week, same time, when their special guest will be that bad man of the movies, Akim Tamirov. Remember, Swan also brings you another of radio's top shows, Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou, over another network. Now, till next week, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I, Swan, how about you? Good night.
82 years ago, December 15, 1942, George Burns and Gracie Allen on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, the start of a Jack Benny running storyline. That'll be coming up in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, last year's traffic death toll was 37,500, a 7% increase over 1950. The National Safety Council believes that the best way to promote safety on the road is for each of us to know and obey traffic laws, to read and heed traffic signs. So be careful. The life you save may be your own.
Christmas shopping was always something that was a part of old-time radio. But one of the things that really became a part of old-time radio was Jack Benny annoying Mel Blanc and changing his mind as to what he was going to give Don Wilson for a gift. And it started off in 1946. In this episode of the Jack Benny program, you'll hear the first of those swaps. And by the way, Mary Livingston not in this program. Mary's real-life sister, Babe Marks, sets in for Mary on this show. I guess Mary was ill at the very last moment. But let's listen to this episode of the Jack Benny Show, 78 years ago, December 15th, 1946.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Quality of product is essential to continuing success. American. It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette, and LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And season after season, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Fine tobacco that means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we take you to Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where we find Jack and Rochester in the library.
Rochester, do we have to be this quiet?
Shh. Be patient, boys. I'm trying to use psychology.
Psychology?
Yeah, watch this. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a... We got him that time, boy.
Good. Good. Now take the mouse out of the trap.
Yes, sir. Hey, boss, great news, great news.
What is it?
We got him before he could eat the cheese.
Well, it wouldn't have done him any good anyway. It's wax. Now, come on, Rochester. Let's finish addressing my Christmas cards.
Okay.
Now, let's see. We finished the ones to my relatives. Now, let's address the cards to the movie stars I know, huh?
Yes, sir.
I got the list right here. Rodney Dangerfield. MGM Studios.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Cyril Forsyth. Universal International Studios.
Cyril Forsyth.
Marcella Underwood. Warner Brothers Studios.
Marcella Underwood.
Anthony Fisk. Paramount Studios.
Anthony Fisk.
Yeah.
Well, that takes care of the pickets. Let's get to the stars.
These are stars. Every one of them. Now, let's see. Oh, yes. Ilka Thistledown, MGM Studios.
Ilka Thistledown.
Gee, how she ever missed getting the Academy Award last year, I'll never know. She was wonderful in Andy Hardy Blows His Nose. Bertram Holmquist, 20th Century Fox Studio.
Bertram Holmquist.
Gary Cooper, Paramount Studio.
Gary Cooper. Who's he?
Big, tall fella. He's a pretty big star. Of course, he's not a Rodney Dangerfield, but he's coming along. Now, let's see. Who else? Oh, yes. Geraldine...
Just a minute, boss. I think I hear another mouse.
What?
Quiet. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a... We got him, too!
Good. Is he a big one?
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
There's nothing in the trap but a note.
A note?
Yeah, it says, you can recite Gunga Din, you ain't gonna catch me.
Oh, stop making things up.
Well, all I know is we didn't catch him.
Yeah, said it again, Rochester.
Say, boss, with all these mice in the house, why don't you get a cat?
Mousetraps don't drink milk. That's why. Well, we're through with the Christmas cards, and I think I got the presents all set. Oh, I meant to do this before. I got to get Don Wilson's house on the phone. Da-da-bum-bum, ba-dee-da-dum. Da-da-dee-dum, da-dum, ba-bum. I got the sun in the morning and the smog at night. Bum-bum-bee-bum, ba-doo-doo-doo. Da-dee-dum, boo-bum. Hello? Oh, hello, Mrs. Wilson. This is Jack Benny. I was just singing to myself. Yes. I know Don is at the studio. That's why I picked this time to call. Now, Mrs. Wilson, I'm giving Don a beautiful pair of shoelaces for Christmas. Yes, with metal tips. Oh, no. Of all the things he should have. Are you sure he already has metal tips? Oh, gosh, well, I'll just have to exchange him again. Well, anyway, Mrs. Wilson, don't tell Don what I'm giving him. What? You wouldn't dare? Thank you. The same to you. Goodbye. Wouldn't you know it, Rochester? All the trouble I went through at that department store last week. I could have taken plastic tips, but no. I had to take metal ones.
By the way, boss, this is Saturday. You're not forgetting your rehearsal, are you?
Oh, no. Miss Livingston's sister, Babe, is going to pick me up and drive me to the studio.
Miss Livingston's sister?
Yes, Mary has a cold, and Babe came out from Plainfield to spend the holidays with her. Now, Rochester, bring me that package with the shoelaces. I'm going to stop by the store and exchange them.
Yes, sir. And say, boss.
Yeah?
If you see a mousetrap that recites the night before Christmas, buy it. I'm getting hoarse.
I'll look around. Yeah, I'm glad Mary's feeling better today, Babe.
Yes, she'll be all right in a couple of days.
Good. Nice delivery. You know, you can talk loud. We're riding in a car. You know? Bum, bum, bing, bum. Beep, bum, bum. Beep, bum, bum, bum. I hope Mert's listening. Bum. Gee, it's a nice... Babe. Oh, babe, put on your brakes, quick. There's a car coming right for us.
That's going the other way. It's a new Studebaker.
Gee, you can't tell when those Studebakers are coming or going.
I know. The other day, my boyfriend was hit by one.
How?
Well, he was standing on the corner trying to figure out whether it was coming or going, and the darn thing went sideways.
Well, what do you know? Hey, there goes another one. It's a cute car, isn't it? So much glass.
Yeah, looks like a Silex with wheels.
Yeah. Well, another star is born. I wonder... Don't be nervous, babe. Don't be nervous. That is a nice Studebaker. I wonder what model that one is.
They have 4 models. Champion, Commander, Regular, and Drip.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. You know, babe, I was thinking, people who live in Studebakers shouldn't throw stones. Oh, Jackson, you keep this up and you'll have your own show, too. Yes, sir.
No wonder my mother hates you.
You should read some of the stuff your mother writes about you. Believe me. Hey, there's Dennis standing over there in the corner. Let's stop and pick him up. Oh, Dennis! Dennis!
Oh, hello, Mr. Benny.
What are you doing standing on the corner, kid? You should be at the studio rehearsing.
Oh, I'm waiting for the Pico bus.
But, Dennis, how can you get the Pico bus on Sunset Boulevard?
My mother drives it.
Oh.
And it doesn't cost me anything to ride, either.
It doesn't?
No. Mother pulls the bus up to the curb and shouts, "No charge for babies in arms!" Then she gets out and carries me in.
Dennis, stop that nonsense and get in the car.
Okay.
Dennis, this is Mary's sister, Miss Livingston.
Hello, Miss Livingston.
You can call me Babe.
You can call me Toots.
Dennis. Dennis, that's her name, Babe.
Oh.
Let's go, Babe. Come on. Say, Babe, after we stop at the studio, I want to go down to the department store and exchange the gift I bought for Don Wilson.
The shoelaces?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Mary told me all the trouble she went through with you last week.
Yeah, well, I can't help it. I got to get back and get those shoelaces with plastic tips. I want Don to be happy.
Plastic tips, metal tips. With his stomach, he'll never see them anyway.
Hey, that's pretty good. Pretty good. That's right. Take a bow. I'm alone in the car. Take a bow anyway. I guess you've never heard of mirrors, eh, babe?
What'd you buy me for Christmas, Mr. Benny?
I'm not going to tell you, Dennis, but it'll be under the tree on Christmas morning.
Gee, another pine cone.
Oh, no, it isn't. Say, babe.
Every year I get a pine cone.
Say, babe.
The first year I didn't know it was a pine cone.
What?
I thought it was an artichoke and I ate it.
Oh, Dennis, stop. Imagine eating a pine cone. Say, babe.
The doctor pumped out my stomach and built a fire.
A fire?
Yeah, I was empty on the inside and burning on the outside.
Oh, quiet! Now, babe, when we get to the studio, we'll only stay a little while so I can go to the store. Phil is probably rehearsing Dennis's number.
Oh, I rehearsed my song all morning. Would you like to hear it?
Well, if you got to open your mouth, I'd rather have you sing. Go ahead.
But we're riding in a car.
I know. Babe, put the top down. Some people may want to show their appreciation. You know?
May the night a little brighter wherever he would go. The old lamplighter of long, long ago, his snowy hair was so much whiter beneath a candle glow. The old lamplighter of long, long ago. You'd hear the patter of his feet as he came toddling down the street. His smile would hide a lonely heart, you see. If there were sweethearts in the park, he'd pass a lamp and leave it dark, remembering the days that used to be. For he recalls when dreams were new, he loved someone who loved him too, who walks with him alone in memory. He made the night a little brighter wherever he would go. The old lamplighter of long, long ago. Now if you look up at the sky, you'll understand the reason why. The little stars at night are all aglow. He turns them on when night is here. He turns them off when dawn is near. The little man we loved of long ago.
Well, that's very good, Dennis. Well, here we are at the studio. Wait in the car for me, babe. I'll only be a minute.
Beg pardon, Governor, but you can't park your car here in front of Buckingham Palace. They're changing the guards, you know.
Buckingham Palace? This is NBC in Hollywood.
Hollywood? My, in this fog I must have strayed a bit off my beat.
You certainly must have. Well, I'll see you in a few minutes, babe.
Okay, I'm hungry, so I'll go to the drugstore and get a Chiz Squeeze sandwich.
The whole family likes them. Come on, Dennis, let's go. Now, Dennis, when you go over your number with Phil, be sure and...
Mr. Day, may I have your autograph, please?
Why, certainly. Have you got a pencil?
Yes, sir.
There you are.
Thank you.
Now, Dennis, as I was saying, I don't want to tell you how to do your song, even though I am the star of the show. But when you try to...
Pardon me, Mr. David. May I have your autograph?
Why, certainly, miss. Have you got a pencil?
Yes, sir.
There you are.
Thank you.
Dennis.
Huh?
I'm afraid you'll have to give up your own show. Now, as I was saying...
But, Mr. Benny, people like me. Two of them just asked
I know what they did. You've only had your show now 13 weeks. You're going around signing autographs. You don't have to be so hammy, you know.
But they asked
You didn't have to encourage them. You know, kid, when you've been in radio as long as I have, you take those things in your stride. You don't make such a big thing out of it.
Well, Mr. Benny...
Why, certainly. Have you got a pencil?
Huh?
Come on, give me your pencil. If you want my autograph, I'm a busy star. Come on.
I just want 2 nickels for a dime so I can use a phone.
Well, I haven't got change. Come on, Dennis.
I've got change for a dime.
All right, you little show-off. I got change for a dime. It's my own fault. I picked you up when you had absolutely nothing. I put you on my show. I trained you. I coached you. And after working for me for 7 years, what happens?
I got change for a dime.
All right, I'll go to the studio to see how Phil is doing. I'll see you later, kid.
All right, now look, fellas, we've been rehearsing this thing for 2 hours. Now let's see if we can get it right this time. Will you? Come on. 1, 2. Hold it. Now hold it. No, fellas, that's not it either. I can't hear no brass.
Oh, Phil.
Just a minute, Buster. Now, look. We're going to try this thing once more, fellas. I want you to give it to me now. Take it from me. 1, 2. What's the matter with you guys anyway? You're not giving me nothing.
Phil, what are you rehearsing?
White Christmas.
Phil, are you crazy? White Christmas is a beautiful song. It should be played softly with feeling. Can't your band play pianissimo?
They're having enough trouble with White Christmas.
Phil, pianissimo is not a song. It's a musical term meaning softly.
Look, Jackson, why don't you just take care of the jokes and leave the music to me?
I won't leave the music to you. This is my program. I want the music to be good.
What are you talking about? I'm rehearsing this for my own show.
Your own show?
Certainly. Why else would Alice be back there playing the trombone?
Oh, now cut that out. You got a lot of nerve rehearsing the music for your show on my time. 18 men at $6 a man. That's $108. You expect me to pay for that?
Why not? You've been doing it all season.
How do you like that? I got a good mind to take those boys and throw them right off the program. In fact, I think I will right after the first of the year.
You're only bluffing.
I am not.
Then why wait till after the first of the year? Why don't you fire them right now?
Because their green complexions and their bloodshot eyes make a nice color scheme for Christmas. That's why. I haven't got time to argue with you. I got to go down to the department store.
Oh, Jack, can you spare a minute for me?
Oh, hello, Don. I didn't see you. It's trouble. What do you want?
Well, I'm rehearsing the commercial with the quartet, and I want you to hear it.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Don, last week was the first time that I thought that quartet was really all right. And if they can give me something like that again, it'll be okay.
Jack, I'm glad to hear you say that, because this week we've got something even better.
Better than last week?
Mm-hmm.
Good, Don. Come on, let me hear.
Okay, ready, boys? Let's go. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
O-L-S-S-S-L-S-S-S-M-F-T O-M-F-F-F-M-F-F 1, 2, 3
Don.
O-L-S-M-F-L-S-M-F-P-D-Q
Don.
So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the drew.
Drew?
O-L-S-M-F-L-S-M-F-T
Don, wait a minute. Don. Wait a minute. Fellas, look, wait a minute. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. Wait a minute! Don, elephant boy. Look, Don. Now, look, Don, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to lose my temper. I just don't want the quartet anymore. That's all. Now I'm going to the department store and finish my Yuletide shopping. Goodbye, boys. Goodbye, Don.
Goodbye.
The tenor tripped me. Goodbye. Gee, babe, the store is even more crowded than it was last week.
Yeah. Did you have to come back here just to exchange those shoelaces? I think it's ridiculous.
Well, babe, I might as well get what I want. After all, I'm not...
Jack.
Huh?
Watch out for that fellow in back of you.
Why, what?
He looks like a pickpocket.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, babe. Watch this. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even
Out! I got him, babe. I got him.
Hey, buddy, what were you doing with your hand in my pocket?
I was just returning the junk I stole from you last week.
Junk?
When I turned that stuff in, I was almost thrown out of the Pickpockets Guild.
Ought to have you thrown in jail. Come on, Mary. Come on, babe. Let's exchange these shoelaces and get out of here.
Okay.
Well, Babe Livingston, of all people.
Well, Sarah Sauerbraten.
Sarah Sauerbraten?
What are you doing in town, Babe?
Oh, I just came out here to get a little California sunshine.
Oh, you'll be out here a long time. You know, Babe, I always thought you'd marry Steve Ferguson, the fellow who works at the gas station.
Oh, we broke up, Sarah. I haven't seen Steve in years.
Well, you should have hung on to him. He's got his own gas station now with 3 grease pins.
He had those grease pits when I went with him. That's why we broke up.
Really?
Yes. Every time I sat on his lap, I slipped through.
Come on, babe. Let's go.
Say, who's this gentleman with the mousetrap? Anything serious?
Babe, come on, will you? I got a lot of shopping to do.
Well, so long, Babe. I've got to get back to the music counter. I demonstrate songs here.
Okay. Goodbye, Sarah.
Goodbye. I'll tell Steve I seen you.
Let's go, babe. I want to... Come on, babe. I want to change these shoelaces.
Well, if it isn't Jack Benny. Oh, Mr. Benny, hello!
Who's that, Lily Pons?
I don't know.
Oh, Mr. Benny, may I have your autograph, please?
I gave you my autograph last week.
Yes, I know, but on my way home I lost it. I'm so careless. Yes, indeed, so very careless!
There you are.
Thank you, Mr. Benny. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
What a character. Oh, babe, there's the notions department right beside the music counter there. Come on. Oh, look, babe, your girlfriend is going to sing.
Give me 5 minutes more, only 5 minutes more. Let me stay in your arms. It's a thrilling, and I'm so weak and willing. Here am I. Only 5 minutes more. Only 5 minutes more of your charm.
Here we are, babe. Here's the notions counter. Now I can exchange the shoelaces. I don't see the man that waited on me last week. Well, I'll find out where he is. Oh, madam.
Yes?
Where's the gentleman who was at this counter last week?
Oh, you mean my husband. He's in a sanitarium.
Oh, that's too bad. What happened?
Well, some jerk came in here to buy some shoelaces, and he couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted plastic tips or metal tips, and he drove my husband crazy.
Really?
All week he's been lying in bed, staring into space and screaming, plastic tips, metal tips, plastic tips, metal tips.
Really?
And once he said, I've got rubber tips too, but I won't tell him. I won't tell him. I won't tell him. I'm so sorry. I do hope you'll forgive me.
That's all right.
Now, what can I do for you?
Well...
Tell her, you coward.
Babe, never mind, madam. I'll come in again some other time. Come on, babe.
Aren't you going to exchange the laces?
No, Don will have to take the metal tips and like it. He's not going to drive people crazy with those lousy shoelaces. Come on, let's go home.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here is my good friend, Mr. F.E. Boone.
At 57, out of 59, American.
Remember this all-important fact. Fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Mr. Garland Fletcher Tilley, independent tobacco buyer of Durham, North Carolina, has bought millions of pounds of tobacco during the last 25 years, he said.
Season after season, at auction after auction, I've seen tobacco bought by the makers of Lucky Strike. And believe you me, that tobacco is really good. Ripe, smooth, and mild. Tobacco you just can't beat for real smoking quality. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 17 years.
Yes, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Tilley, men who spend their lives buying, selling, and handling tobacco, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Remember, year in, year out.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
And fine tobacco makes a fine Christmas present. So here's a gift suggestion that will say Merry Christmas for you 200 times. Give that ever-welcome gift of fine tobacco a carton of Lucky Strike.
And remember, Christmas time and all the time, for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
You know, babe, it was nice of you to come in and pinch hit for Mary when she got sick the last second. You were good, too. Say, babe, come on. We left the car right around the corner.
Yes, I know.
Say, babe, did I tell you next Sunday I'm going to do my broadcast for the boys at Birmingham General Hospital?
Gee, that'll be swell.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know who's going to be with me?
Who?
A lot of people who used to be on my show a long time ago. Kenny Baker, Andy Devine, Schlepperman, Larry Stevens, and, of course, my own gang, you know.
That ought to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be good to see him again.
Just a minute, Jack. Just a minute.
What's the matter?
I've got a cinder in my eye.
Where?
Right here in the corner.
Oh, wait till I get out my handkerchief. Ow! Darn it, I forgot I reset it. Good night, doll.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday we're going to do our Christmas broadcast from the Birmingham General Hospital, and a lot of the old gang will be here with the show. Kenny Baker, Andy Devine, Schlepperman, and Larry Stevens. Friends, here's a Christmas suggestion. Say Merry Christmas to your friends 200 times. How?
This
With
is
that
NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Oops, ran a little long, didn't they? The Jack Benny program from 78 years ago, December 15th, 1946, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On our Monday show, we'll have more comedy with the Great Gildersleeve, Amos and Andy, and the wedding. Is it going to take place or is it not? An episode of the CBS Radio Workshop called The Big Event, the day the law of averages went away for 24 hours. The Milton Berle Show, salute to department stores. Another episode of our Christmas serial, Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. And we'll hear again from David and Claudia. That's all coming up on our Monday Classic Radio Theater podcast. Up next, Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma.
Do you know how old the school building in your community is? If it's over 25 years old, the chances are that it's woefully inadequate. Join with the groups in your community working for better school conditions. Remember, better schools build a stronger America.
Haven't heard from our friend Jimmy in Boston for a while, but he is a Marie Wilson fanatic. He loves that lady, and this episode of My Friend Irma goes back 77 years to December 15th, 1947, where Al has to take Rhumba lessons. It's crazier than you think.
Lever Brothers Company, makers of Swan, the soap that gives you a wonderful new kind of suds, presents
Our Friend Swan with My Friend Irma.
Starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane.
Friendship, friendship, just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, theirs will still be hot. My friend
Gracie, and I live with Irma Peterson. You know, they say that we begin to acquire knowledge from the moment we first see the light of day. And I know it's true because Irma's always going around singing, I am waiting for the sunrise. Now, don't jump at conclusions because I love Irma Peterson, but it's so hard to make her understand things. For instance, the other night we were discussing names, and I mentioned that Johnson means son of John, and Michelson means son of Michael, and Irma Peterson said,
Gee, then I must be Irma, son of Peter.
Well, those things you just don't fight. Especially this lovely Sunday morning when the thoughts of the wonderful time that I had last night are still fresh in my memory. Irma.
Yes, Jane?
I'm so sorry you weren't with us last night. Richard took me to the starlight roof of the Waldorf. We rumbaed all evening. It was just heavenly.
I had a date with Al.
Yeah, I know. What did you do?
Well, Al walked me down Broadway and let me read the news bulletins on the Times building.
Naturally. What else?
And then you know the bus that goes to Chinatown?
Yes.
Al showed me the bus.
Ah, it's a reckless plunger if ever I saw one. What else did you do?
Well, then we ran out of money. So we went to the park. We went to the park and sat on the bench.
I see.
You know, the poor have fun, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Irma, but honey, how can you let that no-good loafer see you Saturday after Saturday without ever spending a nickel on you?
Oh, what can I do?
Well, at least if you could get him to dance, you and Al could go out with Richard and me. I'd love a double date.
But Jane, Al dances.
Irma, I have seen Al dance with you. And when he swings his legs, it can only be described as the try for the extra point after a touchdown. On a slippery field with a wet ball.
Well, it's the only step he knows. He said he learned it running between railroad ties.
Well, I don't care what he says, Irma. It's up to you to make Al toe the mark.
What do you mean?
Well, today, any half-civilized man can dance the Rhumba. You know how. Why don't you teach him?
Well, Jane, I'd love to make him half-civilized, but he's against it.
Well, then I have nothing more to say, and you deserve everything you get. Hello?
Hello, Jane. This is Richard.
Oh, how's my favorite boss today?
Oh, swell, dear. Say, Jane, keep tomorrow night free.
Yeah?
I'm expecting Mr. and Mrs. Delbert Watkins of Chicago. He's an important client, and I want you to help me entertain them. You know, dinner, dancing.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, it would be nice if we had another couple along so it wouldn't look so much like business. Do you know anyone we might invite?
Well, there's Irma and... Oh, you said dancing.
Yes, I see what you mean. I remember Al's dancing. Thought he was trying to impersonate a wounded grasshopper.
Well, why don't you call back later, Richard? I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Bye, Richard.
Bye.
There, now, you see, Irma, Richard would love to have you and Al along tomorrow night. Honey, now, this is your chance. Al's coming here. Why don't you spend the afternoon teaching him a simple Rhumba step?
Oh, it's no use. Al would get tired, and second thing you know, we'll be back on the sofa where he wanted to be in the first place.
Oh, Irma, I can't understand you. You like to dance, don't you?
Oh, certainly. Why, I once won a cup in Minnesota dancing the Rhumba with Harvey Connors.
I only wish he was here now.
Oh, he is.
You mean in New York?
Yes, and he's very successful. He lives at the YMCA.
Well, honey, now that's enough for me. You're going to phone him.
Oh, no, Jane, please. I couldn't go out with another fella. That would be going behind Al's back, and then I couldn't face him.
Oh. Don't be such a martyr, Irma. You're young, sweetie, and you're pretty. Be fair to yourself. Now, how long have you known Al?
5 years.
And what has he spent on you in that time?
5 years.
And you're worried about him. You know, it just burns me up. I never heard of a man so against dancing. Come in.
It's only me, Professor Kravatkin. Hello, Janie and Irma, my two little bottle openers. One straight and one screwy.
Why, Professor?
Excuse me, a little joke I picked up in the hardware store.
Professor, you can help me prove a point with Irma. I maintain that every man dances. Do you?
By me, it's a must.
You see, Irma?
Well, where do you dance, Professor?
In my room. Heater's broke, fireplace don't work, got to dance to keep warm. Well, what's the argument?
Oh, there's no argument. I'll be back, honey.
Oh, Jane, you're not going to call Harvey Connors.
Well, if Al won't take you dancing, Harvey might. Now, I'm not going to let you sit home. Goodbye, honey.
Irma, what's the matter?
Oh, Professor, if you were a girl and your boyfriend couldn't dance and you had a chance to go out, would you take it like a man if you were a girl?
I'd like to give you a straightforward answer if you could only straighten out the question.
Well, Jane's going to invite my old boyfriend Harvey to take me dancing, and, well, that would be two-timing Al. I love Al. What shall I do?
Uh-huh. Well, Irma, there is an old saying.
Well, what is it?
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
But how does that apply to me?
It doesn't. This is a saying for bird lovers. But you ask a foolish question, you get a foolish answer.
Oh, Professor, I don't know what to do. If I break up with Al, he'll simply go out of his mind.
Then it will really be a shame. Two people so compatible should be apart.
Oh, see who it is, Professor. If it's Al, and I say, come in, Harvey, Harvey won't come in.
We take no chances. Welcome, stranger. Stranger? It's me, Al. Hello, Professor. Hiya, chicken.
Hello, Al, honey. Why do you look so tired?
Can't sleep. That factory across the street is driving me crazy.
Well, why don't you go to bed early?
I do, chicken, but that noon whistle wakes me up every morning. Speaking of factories, I think I'll go back to my room and punch in.
Punch in?
Yeah, the door is stuck. Well, as they say in English, pip pip. What a language.
Al, I'm glad of this chance to be alone with you because I want to talk to you.
Sure, chicken. What about?
Well, if I said it was for my sake, would you learn the rumba?
The rumba? Baby, that's for sissies. The Park Avenue crowd go for it because they got nothing else to do. And having nothing else to do, they get nervous and start to shake. First thing you know, they meet another of their kind who is also shaking. Put them together, you got a rumba.
Oh, Al, you're so selfish. All you want to do is sit here on the sofa when we could be dancing.
Selfish? Chicken, what I'm doing is for the good of my fellow man. Let me ask you, how many guys in an orchestra?
I don't know. About 15, I guess.
You know how many guys are employed in a sofa factory? 10,000. Should I put 10,000 guys out of a job just to keep 15 working?
Oh, Al, but we'd have so much fun together.
Chicken, what's in back of all this?
Well, if you would let me teach you the rumba this afternoon, we could go out with Jane and Richard and the Watkins tomorrow night.
Sorry, Irma, not interested. No rumba for me. I'm not one of them guys who has to keep bouncing up and down because he ain't got the nerve to look a dame in the eye.
All right, Al, but don't blame me for what might happen.
What are you talking about?
Well, Al, you're not the only pebble in the sea, and there are plenty of fish on the beach.
Now, look, chicken, just because I won't rumba, don't threaten me. You're a sweet kid, but take it from me, guys are very scarce nowadays. Before you find another guy, it might be a long, long time.
Who is it?
It's me, Harvey Connors.
My, how time flies.
Who's that, chicken?
Oh, Al, it's not my fault. You see, Jane said that
Don't blame Jane. I'll find out for myself. Come in.
Hello, Irma. Gosh, it's been a long time.
Yes, Harvey. I want you to meet Al. Al, this is Harvey.
Hello, Al. It's nice to know you.
Gee, Harvey, you haven't changed a bit.
Neither of you, except you're much prettier.
Harvey, do you ever hear from any of the folks back home?
Just one. Remember Tommy Clark?
Tommy Clark. Oh, certainly. He was the first fellow I ever kissed. Gee, how he could kiss.
Yeah, nice guy. He's a glass blower now.
If I'm not intruding, Bud, why don't you get lost?
Lost? Well, Irma's roommate, Miss Stacy, said something about Irma wanting to go to a dance tomorrow night. That's why I dropped around.
Well, kid, change of plans. Sorry you got to rush along, but keep in touch. If anything turns up, we'll call you. Don't bother to write.
Oh, wait a minute, Al. Harvey's an old friend. We won a rumba contest together in Minnesota. Didn't we, Harvey?
Yes, it's been a long time since I danced with you. Shall we dust off the old insteps and give it a whirl?
Hold up there.
What's wrong, Al?
No girlfriend of mine is going to dance with no fast-talking city slicker.
Now, just a
Oh,
minute
please,
there.
Al, now don't make a scene.
Hi, everybody. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, Jane, isn't it terrible? They're fighting over me.
They're fighting? Who? Oh, this must be Harvey, huh?
How do you do?
Tell him to get out, Jane.
Now, wait a minute, Al. Irma is entitled to some pleasure, and if you don't give it to her, she'll get it elsewhere.
Oh, yeah? Well, not with this guy.
And how are you going to prevent it?
Well, I'll
Say it, Al.
learn the rumba.
Oh, Al, thanks. I'm sorry, Harvey, but thanks for volunteering.
Oh, perfectly all right, Irma. To tell you the truth, I'm glad it turned out this way. You see, this is the same suit I wore when we won the Rhumba contest, and it's a little tight on me. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Harvey.
Well, Al, I'm glad to see that you're such a good sport.
Yeah, well, don't rub it in. I'm going to let Irma teach me today, and I'll learn to rumba so good, she'll think she's dancing with Arthur Murray.
Don't be silly, Al. If I wouldn't go out dancing with Harvey, I'm certainly not going to dance with someone else.
And now Susie Swan sings to us. Listen.
My advice, says Susie, you like this brand new kind of lather, so be choosy. Swan gives you beauty lather, rich as cream. Your skin stays soft as any dream, and fresh as dew. I Swan, do you? Says Susie.
You're right, Susie Swan. And you women will agree that it pays to be choosy about the soap you use for your baths. Yes, it pays to use Swan soap. You see, white floating Swan gives you a wonderful new kind of beauty lather to make every bath tops in enjoyment. Sure, you'll enjoy smoothing that rich, creamy Swan lather on your skin. It feels so soft, so gentle. And you'll enjoy the way Swan's new kind of beauty lather cleanses your skin. Gently, yet so thoroughly, your skin fairly glows with cleanliness. And ladies, here's a special note. You'll really enjoy the new after-bath feeling you have with Swan. Because Swan rinses away so completely, your skin is left smooth and fresh, not all drawn and over-soaked. So, how about enjoying a Swan bath next time? You'll love Swan's wonderful new kind of beauty lather.
Well, the stage has been set for Al's first rumba lesson. The carpet's been rolled up, the furniture's been pushed back, and the phonograph is poised for the opening gong. In this corner, Irma Peterson, 115 pounds and ready for action. In that corner, Al, 165 pounds and ready to jump out of the window. Frankly, I've never seen Irma so happy. I just can't get over the radiant look on her face. Her expression is that of a mother who's about to see her child take his first step. I have a feeling that Al doesn't want to come to Mama. Irma?
Yes, Jane?
Change the needle in the phonograph. It's all ready.
Thanks. Are you ready, Al?
Well, look, chicken, I know I promised, but why should I learn the rumba when I got a whole mess of Charleston steps I've never even used yet?
Oh, come on, Al. Be a good sport. I'm anxious to see how you do, because I want to phone Richard if you're joining us. Come on.
We'll show you. Come on, Al.
Feel like I'm going to the dentist.
Now, Al, first I want you to get to know the rhythm of the rumba music when you hear it. Start the music, Jane.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the wrong record.
Want me to dance or salute?
Oh, gee. I'm sorry, Al. Here it is. It's a wonderful rumba, si bonnet.
Oh, hold it just a minute, Jane. I want to show Al the correct position for the rumba. Now, Al, take my hand. Oh, no, not so close. Stand back. That's it.
Chicken, if we're going to stand this far apart, there's no point in dancing with you. I can just call you up on the phone.
No, Al, that's correct.
Well, it might be correct, but it ain't fun.
Now, come on, kids. Here goes the music.
All right, now I'll lead you, Al. Ready? 1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step. No, Al.
What's wrong?
Well, when you dance a rumba, you're not supposed to move the head, the shoulders, or hips. Just the feet and the knees. Understand?
Okay, but do you mind if the rest of me comes along just for the ride?
Go ahead, Al. Now, come on, try it again, Al.
1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step. No, Al, honey.
What didn't I do now?
When you do the rumba, you don't jump around. You stay in one place.
Can't dance that way, chicken. Got to keep moving.
Why?
The joints I go to, my pockets will be picked in the first aid bar. Oh, chicken, I want to make you happy, but I just wasn't cut out for this sissy stuff.
Oh, don't say that, Al. You're graceful.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, certainly. And don't forget, you haven't got a career yet. You could become a great dancer.
Well, never thought of it that way.
Sure, maybe we could become a team. Call ourselves Al and Irma, those dancing fools.
Kind of corny, chicken.
But descriptive.
Or maybe Al and Irma, a boy and a girl, 4 legs, that's all.
Oh, my. Al, are you going to dance?
Try it once more. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step. Oh, no, Al.
What do I get a ticket for now?
Well, you keep shaking your head. Pretend there's a plate of spaghetti on your head and you don't want to spill it. Keep your head erect.
Gotcha. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step. Oh, Al, what are you doing?
Sorry, chicken. Can't concentrate. Getting hungry. Keep thinking of that spaghetti on my head.
Oh, Jane, what's the use? You and Richard better go out with the Watkins alone. I'm in love with the wallflower.
Oh, don't say that, chicken. I tried. It's just one of them things. Some guys is born for the rumba, some guys is born for the sofa.
Now, listen, Al, you promised Irma. You made her send Harvey home, and you're going to learn if you stay here all afternoon. Let me try leading you.
I'm game.
Start the music, will you, honey? And listen, Al, I'm not Jolson, and you're not Sonny Boy, so stay off my knees.
We'll make a definite effort.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, murder!
Sorry, Jane. Didn't mean to kick your ankle.
No? What were you aiming at? All right, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3. Mother.
Hey, I thought I did pretty good there.
Yes, you did. At mountain climbing.
Oh, we better quit.
No, you don't, Al. Between Irma and me, you're going to learn this rumba if it kills you. Now, come on. 1, 2, 3, step. Come on.
1, 2, 3,
Do
step.
it. 1, 2. That's
1, 2,
right.
3,
Come on,
step.
Al. Come on.
1, 2, 3, step. Well, girls, how'd I do? Well, Irma, say something. Jane, speak. Well, the two of you are just going to lie on the floor like that. I'll sit down.
Jane, do you want some water?
No. See if you can get plasma.
Oh, now, cut the kidding, Jane. I wasn't that bad.
No? Well, let me tell you.
Come in.
Hello, Emma. How are you, Jane?
Oh, hello, Richard. I was just going to call you.
Say, what happened to this room? Looks like the Super Chief's been through here.
No, we were teaching Al a rumba.
We're waiting for our battle stars.
Look, Jane, I don't know what to do about tomorrow night. Watkins just wired, and he and his wife would like to see the floor show at Bowery Sam's, and I can't get a reservation.
Bowery Sam. Shouldn't be hard to fix.
Well, Al, if there's any way in the world you can swing it, I'd be most appreciative. Now, Watkins' wife is a little eccentric, but he's a big client, and you know what that means.
See what I can do. Only one man who can help us.
Who, Al?
Who else but... Hello, Joe. Al, got a problem. Huh? Why am I out of breath? Was learning the rumba. Yeah, it's a dance. You know, like Bellows and Yolanda. Huh? No, they was never with Notre Dame. Joe would like to get reservations for a few friends at Bowery Sam's. What's the dope? Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Now, hold it, Joe. No use, folks.
What's wrong?
The only way I can get you in is if you're my guests.
Oh, Al, that's wonderful.
Oh, no, chicken. Bowery Sam's a classy place. No use me going. Jane would be embarrassed. I can't rumba.
Who says you can?
You did.
Oh, Al, I was just kidding you.
Oh, yeah? How about when I kicked you in the ankles?
Well, that's the latest step, Al. They're doing that all over Bolivia. Is that right, Richard?
Yes, and parts of the Argentine.
I saw it way over in Jersey.
You're not kidding me?
Of course not, Al.
Well, I knew I had talent, but I didn't think it worked so fast. Okay, I'll fix it up right now. Hello, Joe. Al, coming over with party of 6 tomorrow night. Huh? No, you don't have to worry. Somebody in the crowd will pay. Goodbye, Joe. Well, it's all set. Now, look, Richard, I want this understood. If I go along, I want to pay my own way.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of it.
Okay. Come on, Irma, sit with me down the corner while I get my shoes shined. Want to look good tomorrow night.
But, Al, why don't you wait until tomorrow night to have them shined?
Got the dime in the shoes now. Don't know what the future will bring.
All right, goodbye, Jane and Richard.
Bye.
Bye, kids.
Jane, do you think we were right in kidding Al into believing he could do the rumba? You know, that Bolivian step?
Oh, it can't do any harm, dear. And what's most important, it'll give Irma a chance to have a good time. She's been home so much.
All right, just as long as it can't do any harm.
Well, we finally got to Bowery Sam's, but not before I almost had a nervous breakdown. Irma couldn't decide what dress to wear, and she finally chose an evening gown with a neckline so low, I'm sure the dressmaker had to stand in a hole to sew it. Al? Well, Al looked rather natty in a rented tuxedo. Took Richard and me quite a time to convince him that he could look just as sporty without wearing black and white shoes. Of course, I told Al and Irma to be on their very best behavior because we don't want to do anything that would embarrass Richard and his guests, the Watkins. Well, anyway, Mr. Watkins is seated at my right. We're all at a ringside table. Mr. Watkins.
Yes, Miss Stacy.
I see you like champagne.
Indeed. How about you, Miss Peterson?
Gets up my nose and tickles me.
Oh, Mrs. Watkins is very charming, Dell.
Well, thank you, Richard. Before she comes back from the powder room, I'd like to tell you that she's just come out of the hospital.
Oh, dear, how unfortunate.
Well, between us, I think it's purely imaginary. Helen is sure that she has a stomach ailment. If I can only get her mind off it, I might start to enjoy life. Shh, here she comes.
Well, here I am again.
Say, that's a rumba. You care to rum, Mrs. Watkins?
Al! Well, I haven't danced in quite a while. You don't do too many fancy steps.
No, I do the Bolivian rumba. Come on, Mrs. Watkins.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jane, isn't it wonderful? This will give Al confidence.
This will really give her a reason to go to the hospital. Oh, Richard, what'll we do?
I warned you.
Oh, don't worry, Jane. Look at Mr. Watkins. He's not nervous.
No? Then why is he putting ketchup in his champagne? Irma, I can't look. I just can't look. What is Al doing now?
I think it's a fancy step. No, he tripped her.
Is she hurt?
I don't know. She's not up yet. Oh, look. Now he's lifting her and spinning her. Jane, is that also done in Bolivia?
Only in the unexplored part. Richard, I'm so sorry, honestly.
Oh, Jane, they're coming off the floor.
Is she still walking?
Yes.
On her hands or her feet?
Well, here we are back.
Darling, you're all right?
Oh, never felt better. This sweet fool kept kicking me in the ankles so much I forgot all about my stomach.
Well, that sounds like my old Helen. Here, honey, I know you haven't had a drink of champagne in 6 months, but how about a drink?
Certainly, dear. Oh, don't bother pouring it. Just hand me the bottle.
Atta girl. And Richard, about that 50,000 shares of United, double the order.
Thanks, Dell.
Oh, Al. Al,
my ballerina.
That was nothing. Wait till I find out what they're doing in Peru.
I found the bathtub half full of water and several bars of Swan soap floating in it while Irma was busy piling rocks in one end of the tub. She had me for a minute. Then finally I asked for an explanation, and Irma said,
I want the swans to have a place to dry off when they're through swimming.
Oh, that Irma. She just won't make sense about Swan, except when she insists that Swan is the perfect soap for bathing. And that's good sense in anybody's language, because white floating Swan soap gives you a wonderful new kind of beauty lather to make your bath a real beauty bath. Sure, for one thing, Swan's new kind of lather is so mild, so gentle, it's kind to even the most delicate skin. And the way this new kind of beauty lather feels against your skin, so rich, so soft, such a relaxing bath. Yes, you'll really enjoy a bath with Swan, ladies, and you'll love the way your skin feels after a Swan bath, too, because Swan rinses away so completely, there's none of that tight, over-soaped feeling. Instead, your skin is left fresh and radiant. So for a real beauty bath, try Swan's wonderful new kind of beauty lather next time, won't you?
Well, thanks to Al and Bolivia, everything turned out just wonderfully. But our apartment is no longer the same. Every moment that Al and Irma are together, the phonograph is going and the joint is jumping. In fact, yesterday I said, Irma, you know, you and Al are fanatics about this rumba. Why don't the two of you ever sit on the sofa? And Irma said,
Oh, Al says that's for kids. We have time for that when we grow up.
And you know, the one person who will still be a kid at 90 will be my friend Irma.
My Friend Irma, presented by Swan, another fine product of Lever Brothers Company, was produced and directed by Cy Howard. Tonight's script was written by Cy Howard and Park Levy. Folks, next Monday evening, tune in an hour earlier over most of these same stations for the Lux Radio Theater. And then stay tuned to listen to...
Our friend Swan.
With my friend Irma.
Starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane. Hans Conried was Professor Kropotkin. Mary Wilson can soon be seen in the Eagle Lion release, Linda Be Good. Ladies, listen. The shortage of fats and oils is still very serious, and it's worldwide. So please, keep on saving every single drop of used kitchen fat. Your butcher will pay you for every pound. Frank Bingman speaking.
Spry with Cake Improver. Spry with Cake Improver.
Spry means higher, richer, lighter, finer textured cake. Spry means easy, sure success with every cake you bake.
Spry with Cake Improver. Spry with Cake Improver.
It's S-P-R-Y, Spry, and it's one bowl method for the most delicious cakes ever. For no other type shortening has Spry's marvelous Cake Improver. Try Spry.
Tune in again to My Friend Irma next Monday evening at this same time. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
And this is something you may not know. When my friend Irma went to the big screen, she had two people with her that would outlast her career. Yes, because My Friend Irma's 1949 motion picture was the big screen debut of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. 77 years ago, December 15th, 1947, My Friend Irma here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I need to ask you to do me a favor. If you like what we do here, if you'd like to support us, you can do it without spending a penny. You can. Please share this episode and share our podcast with your friends. Rate or review the podcast on your listening app. Visit classicradio.stream and, leave us a review. That's the most important thing you can do because we need to spread the word that Classic Radio Theater is still around. And if you're so inclined, you can also follow us on Facebook or Twitter and share those podcasts there as well. It's very, very easy to do. But if you'd like to go to our webpage, classicradio.stream, and buy something there, one of our sponsored products, or you can do something even more monetary beneficial, and that is buy me a coffee if you'd like to do that. You can do all that at classicradio.stream. I recognize it's Christmas. I recognize money's a bit tighter than usual, but if you can help, that's wonderful. All right, coming up next, we're going to go out and see what's going on the farm as winter has arrived at the home of David and Claudia.
Daily, the broadcasts of Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia strike through the Iron Curtain, bringing the truth about the free world to the captive peoples behind it. Help send a message by giving to the 1952 Crusade for Freedom.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now with an episode of the Coca-Cola sponsored soap opera Claudia. This episode goes all the way back 76 years ago, December 15th, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Oh, golly. Hey, David, it's freezing out.
It's what?
I just opened the door. It's freezing out.
And close the door.
Well, don't you want to see how cold it is out?
Not the least bit interested.
Oh. Whew. Sure am winter. You better drink another cup of coffee and drink it hot.
Why?
Because it's so cold that I can hardly put my nose out.
Now, don't put your nose out. Keep it in the house where it's warm.
My nose?
The house.
Oh, I just hate your having to put yourself outside, darling. It goes right through you like a knife.
Oh, I'll survive. I'm a great, big, rugged outdoor man.
A great, big outdoor man or not. Winter is on our doorstep. Verily, it has almost entered our house. This is a day for folks to stay by their fire.
Is that what it is?
Oh, so nice and warm. Yep, that's what it is. No living creatures should be made to go out today, not even termites.
What do you have against termites?
Nothing, as long as
Nothing.
we don't have them.
I see.
Oh, doesn't that apple tree look forlorn out there in the bleak?
That apple tree has weathered more winters than we ever will.
What a nasty thought, darling. Listen, I'm not going to budge all day. So nice and warm in the house. I'm not going to budge, I tell you.
Do tell.
I do.
You do.
Hope it's warm up at the barn, too.
Why don't you bring Majesty down in the kitchen?
It's an idea. Pregnant cows should be warm, you know. And Ruby, too.
The cow and the sow stayed up at the barn. And when the winter winds blew, they only said, darn.
Because they felt so warm. Ooh, no poeticide.
You can say that again.
David, maybe the trains won't be running to New York and you won't have to go.
Trains don't mind the weather.
Well, they should. I do. David, look. Quickly. See on the windowsill?
Claudia, I'm trying to read the paper.
You can read your paper any old time.
That's what you think.
Put it down.
All right. Now, what is it?
There on the windowsill. What do you think it is?
A black bear.
Nothing but a little bird.
A what?
Poor little wisp of a bird. He must be freezing out there.
Well, open the window. Let him in.
If I even went near the window, he'd fly away. Oh, David, he must be starving. What on earth is there to eat at this time of year for a bird?
Grass.
Where?
Berries.
Where?
Nuts.
Where?
Right here, chattering beside me.
Very funny.
And worms.
Oh, I hate worms. Can't stand them.
Whisper it in the little bird's ear.
You're such a fool.
Thank you.
Seriously, David, wouldn't you hate being a bird in this weather?
Well, most birds aren't in this weather. They flew away months ago.
Well, this poor little bird didn't. He got left behind all alone.
Oh, that's a winter bird. Some birds don't fly south.
For instance?
Sparrows, some wrens.
Oh, he looks so pathetic. Such skimpy little feathers. David, his nose must be frozen.
His nose.
The birds have noses.
Birds have bills and beaks.
Oh. Well, this poor little bird's going to be a blue beak before the day's over. Oh, look at him hopping around. Oh, I feel cold just looking at him. He's a skinny little bird, isn't he?
What is all this sudden interest in birds, Mrs. Audubon?
I am conscience-stricken. Here we are, sitting at this laden breakfast table, coffee, toast, marmalade, and the poor little bird has to skimp for his breakfast. And I mean scrape.
You mean dig.
So cold today, the worms have probably gone way deep into the earth, and the birds can't get at them. Hey, he's gone.
He's probably been looking at you and shaking his head in pity.
And me?
Yeah, I don't think you realize how pathetic you look.
How?
Without your wings and landlocked and cluttered with clothes and only 2 legs to get around
It
on.
would be nice to have wings. Not today, though. I bet they're absolutely stiff with cold. Say, David, are you finished with that piece of toast?
Sure, why?
Give it to me.
Now, you can make yourself a fresh piece of toast.
Well,
You don't have to eat the remains of mine.
I...
Go on, treat yourself. Have a fresh piece of toast.
It's
Go
not
ahead.
for me.
Go ahead, nothing too good for you.
Well, it's
Not-
not for me.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Well, you're not very nice to Mama.
Well,
She can have a fresh piece of toast, too. I wouldn't begrudge it.
it's not for Mama, David. It's for the little bird with the blue beak. I'm going to
Ooh.
crumble it into crumbs, and I'm going to spread it all over the lawn.
What a sweet and generous girl I married.
Aren't I, though? Oh, so sweet. Well, listen, if you were a bird, how'd you feel if nobody gave you anything to eat?
How do you do? If I were a bird, I'd have a bird-like appetite, and I could probably take care of myself.
You are heartless, that's all, as well as being an absolute idiot. Here it is, almost Christmas.
And what has almost Christmas got to do with anything?
Aren't you filled with the spirit of giving?
I'm filled with coffee and toast.
Now, stop protesting. You're filled with Yuletide spirit as well. You hardly ate any toast at all. Since it's almost Christmas, this year we're going to remember the birds.
Lady Bountiful.
Oh, well, what's a piece of toast to me, David?
I have no idea.
And just think what it'll mean to that poor little sparrow. Everything. And here's this crust of bread. We can give him that, too.
Aren't you going to butter it first?
Do you think they like butter?
Put a little fat on their feathers.
You are not being very amusing. Huh? Here we are. Put it all in my napkin, and I shall distribute it among our flock.
My own private little Saint Francis of Assisi.
Of a what?
Never mind.
Don't you want to come out with me and feed the boys?
Yeah, I think you're able to handle that job alone.
Oh. You just love pretending you're tough, don't you?
No, I'm not pretending. I am tough.
Oh, yes. Oh, David, if you're going out, you better put on your overcoat. I bet you don't believe how cold it is.
Well, I should by now.
Oh, hand me my coat, would you, Davis, right there. Chair in
Yeah.
the hall. Well, just drop it over my shoulders.
Now, you put that napkin full of crumbs down and put on your coat properly. It's freezing out.
How'd you
A
know?
little bird told me.
What kind of little bird?
Take your choice.
Sparrow?
A magpie.
All right, you can hold the crumbs, since you insist.
Now, button up that last button.
Oh, no.
Now, button it up.
Tickles my chin.
Button it up.
Oh, honestly, you're the bossiest man. All right, I'm buttoned. Give me crumbs. Gimme me crumbs. Gimme me crumbs. Oh, feels like spring will never come.
The winter's just begun.
Oh, don't keep reminding me. You know, the birds will all be dead by spring day. We should have built them more houses, that's what.
Honest to my soul and body, you would deprive even the birds of their freedom.
What do you mean?
You honestly feel that if you don't lead everybody by the hand, they'll get lost.
Birds don't have hands.
You even want to take the birds under your wing.
Well, that's because I'm a mother.
A mother.
Here, birdie, 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 birdie. Here, birdie, birdie, birdie.
Those Danes of ours have a fine opinion of themselves. You're calling the sparrows, and they answer.
Just being modest. Here, birdie, 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 birdie. Well, guess I better scatter the crumbs and let them come in their own good time. Oh, I hope the crows don't get them all.
Why don't you put a place card out on the lawn?
Brilliant idea.
And a napkin and a fork, and really make a banquet of this. After all, you can't feed a strange bird a mere crumb.
Thoughtful, darling.
Come on back in the house. Enough of this nonsense.
Oh, what a horrible day. Goodbye, birdies. Goodbye, goodbye.
Such whimsy.
I know, isn't it awful?
There's a very self-satisfied look about you today.
Well, should be. I feel just like little orphan Annie. As I said before, it's very nice and warm in our house.
Are you little orphan Annie because you've done your good deeds? Is that
I
it?
fed the birds of Eastbrook. That's a good
So
deed.
stop convincing yourself how noble you are.
Well, don't you think I'm noble?
I see a halo of feathers on your brow. Now get out of my way. I have to get to the office. I can't spend all day in this aviary.
There aren't any airplanes around.
Well, it really isn't fun pretending to yourself that you're ignorant, I know.
Fun for me. It's fun for me. I have a wonderful time any old way. I think it's because I'm married to a bird lover. David, Was Florence Nightingale a bird lover?
Oh, go away.
Was
boy.
Robin Hood a bird lover?
Don't kill yourself.
I know another Nightingale. Swedish.
Sweetie.
Jenny Lind. She's a bird
Jenny
lover.
Lind.
Oh, ain't I bright?
You just think you're the funniest thing on
Take off your
6
hat,
legs.
David. Let me pat down your
Now,
feathers.
don't you touch me. Now, keep your hands, get away
Come
from me.
home to roost early, darling.
Well, what's in it for me?
Well, don't you want your little canary to be sad? You don't want me to be sad?
You a canary? Well, you can't even sing.
I can. I can
You
sing
certainly
beautifully
can.
like a crow.
Like a crow. I'm the only bird in this family.
You're a rooster, don't
I'm a rooster who sings like a bird. Listen.
David, you're wonderful. Do it again.
No, just sang for my breakfast. Now I have to leave you until supper.
Oh. Isn't it? David, you are a ventriloquist bird, that's
A
sure.
what?
A ventriloquist bird. Listen to what you're doing. Sounds as if the birds were all outside.
Oh, I was afraid this would happen.
Afraid what had happened? Oh, let's look. I still have my coat. I'll be warm enough. David, for heaven's sakes, will you look at our front lawn?
Great day in the morning. It's alive.
I never saw so many birds.
We'll be drowned.
And birds?
Snowed
We've
under.
got every kind of bird. Good heavens, I didn't know there were so many birds.
Well, you asked for them.
Wonderful. Look at them. Oh, aren't they sweet? David, tell me what kind they are.
Well, that one right over there.
Yeah.
You see that one? That is a lead-bellied thrush.
Oh, lead-bellied thrush.
That one on the as I live and breathe, yes, sir. I swear that's just what it is. It's a red-cockled mackerel. That's what it is.
That's a funny name for a bird. There's something very fishy about that,
Very
David.
famous bird, very famous. Comes from way down in South
I
America.
never heard of it. Heavens.
But I think I have the name wrong.
There is something fishy about it,
It's
though,
a
David.
red-mackled cockerel. That's what it is. That's what it is.
No,
It's a
still
very,
sounds
very
fishy.
rare bird. Very
Are you
rare.
sure there's that kind of a bird?
Yes, I'm perfectly sure. And you see that one right over there?
Mm.
Coming around the edge of that bush?
Yes.
Sneaking around there?
I see, I
Peeping
see.
at us? That is a thrush'll wish.
Uh-oh. That did it.
No, that's what it is, I swear.
that thruss'll wish.
That's what it is. It's a thrush'll
You're
wish.
a big fake.
I'm not, I swear.
Thrush'll
I know
wish.
my
I've never
thrush'll
heard
wishes
of
when I
such a
see them.
You think for a minute I'd believe you. Oh, more birds.
This place is getting worse than the public library on 42nd Street.
Look at them in droves.
You started it.
I started.
Yes, you realize, young woman, that they'll all be back every single morning at this hour waiting to be fed.
Oh, I don't mind. Or do I? Oh, they look so starved, so cold.
How are we going to support all these hungry mouths is beyond me.
True. There are an awful lot of mouths in a drove of birds.
And at 8 every morning, each little mouth will be chirping for its breakfast.
How sweet.
And these birds will tell their brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts. Now, for an example, one bird will come up and say,
What's that mean?
well, that means if you go over to the Naughtons, you can get some food.
Oh,
and the
I
other one will say, and then we'll be picked lean by ravenous birds.
Oh, because of one little crumb.
One little soft-hearted magpie.
Yes, you call me. Well, there's only one solution, David. We'll have to give the birds the loaf, and we'll keep the crumbs.
And as Confucius say, a bird in the hand means two in the bread box. Lead me away, darling. I am going to the birds.
Home Sweet Home seems twice as sweet to most folks when friends and neighbors drop in and hospitality reigns supreme with fun and talk and refreshment. That's the time when Coca-Cola, served icy cold, provides a most welcome and delicious treat, and you're glad to have a good supply on ice. How's your supply right now? Better get some today.
Hey, Joe.
What's up, David?
Nothing's up. Everything that should be up is down.
You mean there's not a bird left in the sky?
I mean there is not one single solitary single bird left in the sky. Not one.
Well, what did you expect?
No, I didn't expect very much. I think I'll go out front and fly away to New York now. Huh?
Well, have a good day, a good flight into the city. And,
Thank you.
Take my advice, David. Finish up all your work there. All of it. Because tomorrow you won't.
I won't what?
Finish it up. Too many interruptions.
Uh-oh.
So work while you can, and while Claudia isn't around.
I'll do that. So long, Joe.
Bye, David. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, Whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
76 years ago, December 25th, 1948, Claudia on this Sunday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On Monday, The Great Gildersleeve, Amos and Andy, the CBS Radio Workshop, Milton Berle, Jonathan Thomas and His Christmas on the Moon, and another episode of Claudia. Tuesday, dramas with Tales of the Texas Rangers, Boston Blackie, Suspense, The Yuletide Miracle, Claudia rolls around again, Jonathan Thomas and the Christmas on the Moon, and Superman, and more as we get closer to Christmas. Coming up next, as I mentioned, Jonathan Thomas and His Christmas on the Moon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chief hope of our enemies is to divide the United States along racial and religious lines and thereby conquer us. Let's not spread prejudice. A divided America is a weak America. Through our behavior, we encourage the respect of our children and make them better neighbors to all races and religions. Remind them that being good neighbors has helped make our country great and kept her free. Thank you.
We continue with our Christmas serial, Jonathan Thomas and His Christmas on the Moon, the 17th episode of the series, as it was originally broadcast December 15th, 1938. That is 86 years ago today.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and His Christmas on the Moon. Oh, my goodness, as the time draws near, I worry and worry too much, I fear, whether Jonathan Thomas will find Santa Claus, which he promised to do, and he's got to, because if he doesn't find Santa, there won't be much joy on Christmas morning without even a toy. Now, the Man in the Moon and Gorgonzola the horse are helping Jonathan Thomas, of course, and the three little dwarfs have taught them to say, Hun squee nun squee giggly vey. It's the strangest word that you ever heard, but that's because it's a magical word. Whenever they say it, the good fairy queen knows there's trouble, and she comes to the scene, and she soon drives away the wicked old witch who rules o'er the land of Rumpelstitch. And the good fairy queen has given a charm to the travelers three to keep them from harm. 'Tis a magical acorn she gave them to take through the nightmare forest to keep them awake. 'Cause she said, remember, in the forest so deep, you'll never wake up should go to sleep. When they reached the forest so dark and chill, they met a white squirrel named Whiskery Bill. And he was as mean as a squirrel could be. He teased them a lot from the top of a tree till Jonathan Thomas fell off of the horse and went sound to sleep, as he would, of course, for the horse held the acorn, and things looked bad, and Whiskery Bill was ever so sad till the fairy queen said, if you'll find a red rose and hold it beneath the little boy's nose, you'll wake him right up. But for miles around, there wasn't a single red rose to be found, till the white rose bush told Whiskery Bill if she had red color, she could grow one at will. And she said, if you'll hurry right over the snow, you'll find red rubies on the long rainbow. So away he went to the rainbow's end, where he met a walrus, who became his good friend. And you've no idea how much trouble they had, for the witch did all that she could that was bad. But they found the rubies, and the bush grew the rose. They held it beneath Jonathan Thomas's nose, and he woke right up and was soon on his way, 'cause he's got to find Santa before Christmas Day. Soon they met a lion who asked them to dine and gave them a box full of roars that were fine to frighten the witch. Then they met the elf king, who claimed he was king of any old thing. Just then, the old witch flew up with a yell to get Jonathan Thomas and the elf king as well. But they let out the roars, which quite took her breath. As a matter of fact, it scared her to death. And then, well, here's where the story begins again.
Lesson
Your Majesty. That's very nice.
Oh, 3 cheers isn't much. Why, it's hardly a touch. But now I give you my promise. Whatever the task, anything you ask, will be yours, Master Jonathan Thomas.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty. We don't want you to give us anything, but maybe you could help us.
I'll do my best. Just give me the test.
We've got to go to the land of Squeebubble, Your Majesty, to rescue Santa Claus. Or there won't be any Christmas this year, and that would be bad, and more terribly sad, to which you'll quite agree.
Can't you help us at all, if you please?
Through this valley and over the hill, you'll find a wall that will stop you still. It's the wall of doors, and I say to you, without this key, you can't get through.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty.
How kind of you, this thing to do. That helps us out a lot. For by my hat, any key like that could never in the world be bought.
Nobody ever told us about the wall of doors until you. We didn't know, did we, Mr. Man in the Moon?
How could we know if nobody told us? Unless we could guess. Look, ain't guessing such hard work.
When you come to the wall, which is very, very tall, you'll find 1,000 doors. Each one is the same, and they're all very plain. And you'll have to count them by 4s. 4 from the left, and 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 then 4 more. That makes the count 20, and that's quite a plenty. But make sure you go through the right door.
Yes, sir, Your Majesty.
Your troubles are done if you pick the right one. They'll just begin if another you go in, and you'll be lost for days, and you'll wander and wander hither and yonder, like a couple of maverick strays.
Oh, my goodness.
There's the room of doom, of never-ending night, with horrible things to give you a fright. There's a pitfall hole where goblins and snakes will give you the shakes, where ghosts and banshees wail and sneak up behind you and then try to blind you so they can put you in jail.
I hope Santa Claus appreciates what we're going through, for I'm telling you, this sets me all a quiver, for I can't help but worry about this story, and it's got me in a dither.
Well, you needn't shake, for the door which you'll take will lead you right through the wall. So go right through, and it's easy to do. You'll not be frightened at all.
You're a very nice king, Your Majesty. I am glad we saved you from the witch.
Oh, Jonathan Thomas, we'd better go, or we'll never get wherever we're going on time.
Yes, you'd better start walking, for I must quit talking, 'cause I've used up most of my rhyme.
Goodbye, Your Majesty, and wish us luck. And keep your fingers crossed so we don't get stuck. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So, here we go through the ice and snow. We're off again once more to find with the key which he gave to me a way through the secret door. Oh, here we
Squim-dum-do, squim-dum-dee, a frightful time do I foresee. For remember, dear children, I made a promise that I would cast a spell upon Jonathan Thomas. Now let me see, what do I need? A shell of a snail and a watermelon seed to boil and bubble to cause great trouble. And I'll work and toil, and I must, because they shall not rescue Santa Claus. They shall not rescue Santa Claus.
Oh, here we go through the ice and snow, singing on our way. We're riding a horse 'cause we have to, of course, for we have no open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, oh, whoa, Gorgonzola. Hold up now. My gracious to goodness and Jiminy Crickets and Flubdudge. Look, Jonathan Thomas.
Oh, it's a wall of doors the Elf King told us about.
Doors to the left of us, doors to the right of us. Thousands and millions of doors. You could count them by 40 times 4, and they all say, Private, this means you. Now, who told them we were coming here? That's what I'd like to know.
Which is the one the Elf King told us to go through, Mr. Man in the Moon?
We'll have to count them, Jonathan Thomas. 4 from the left.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And 4 from the left.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Count 4 more or we'll be late.
9, 10, 11, 12.
It's all according to the tiny elves.
13, 14, 15, 16.
Now, just 4 more and we'll open the door.
17, 18, 19, 20.
That's counting them rights, which is good and plenty. Now look and see if you've got the key.
Here it is, Mr. Man in the Moon. I kept it in my pocket.
Now put it in the lock and turn to the right, and mighty soon we'll know what we will greet here to our sight.
Oh, look, Mr. Man in the Moon. It's kind of spooky inside.
The Elf King said we had nothing to fear, but I don't ever fear nothing. It's always something I'm afraid of. Come on, Jonathan Thomas, shut the door and let's go on.
Oh, I hope we counted right, 'cause remember, he said if we didn't, we'd get into all sorts of trouble.
You counted right, of course you did, and I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Oh!
Oh! Who said that?
Who said that?
Somebody's mocking us.
Mocking us.
But who could it be?
Who could it be?
Whoever it is, they'd better shut up.
Shut up.
Oh! Look, Mr. Man in the Moon. Look at all the people.
People.
And they're coming after us.
Come on, Jonathan Thomas. Run for your life. Run for your life.
Run for your life. Run for your life.
Well, my goodness gracious. It looks like Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon are in trouble again. But what sort of trouble do you think? What sort of a place are they in? That's what I'd like to know, wouldn't you? Well, we'll find out when we hear the next story of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Don't forget to listen, will you?
86 years ago, December 15th, 1938, Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Up next, the latest in the episode of the Pan American Highway story with Superman.
Whenever you drive the car, there is always an unseen, unwelcome passenger with you. That passenger is danger. The danger of a traffic accident. Unfortunately, every person seems to have the absurd notion that he bears a charmed life, that no traffic accident can happen to him. But it can, and too often it does. So when you're behind that wheel, don't take chances. Obey all traffic rules. Drive safely for life, your life, and the lives of us.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode in the ongoing adventures of Superman and the Pan American Highway. This episode goes back 83 years, December 15th, 1941.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. When Clark Kent tricked the Inca Indians into believing they had killed Perry White and the American engineer John Craig, he returned to the Inca palace and, slipping into the huge council chamber, hid behind a curtain on the balcony. His plan was to somehow gain an audience with Nehru, supreme chief of the Inca nation, in the hope of gaining his friendship and, incidentally, his permission to build a trans-hemisphere highway over Tupungato Mountain. As Kent looked down on the council room, a massive door opened and Nehru entered. accompanied by Lumati, one of his chiefs. Listen.
Heed not the weak counsel of cowards in our midst, Nehru. Rather be guided by your own knowing instinct.
You mean, Numati, that the white men should die?
Yes, Nehru, I do. I believe they menace our civilization. We will not be safe until they are done away with.
But Kuba and the others say we have no right to kill.
Consider, Nehru, how 400 years ago our people fled to this secluded spot to escape the murderous weapons of white men such as these. Think what will happen when their accursed road is built through our sacred mountain. Choose, Nehru, between the welfare of our nation and the lives of these whites.
Your plea, Lumati, is a most eloquent one. My decree, then, stands.
You mean...
Yes, death to the whites. Death to all of them. I will summon the guards and order the execution.
Wait, Nehru, ruler of the mighty Inca nation.
Lumati, did you hear a voice speak out?
Yes, I...
Act not in haste, O Nehru. Hear me first.
Who speaks thus? Where are you?
It must be an evil god.
No, Lumati. I am no evil god, but the spirit of peace and goodwill.
If you speak the truth, why then do you not show yourself to us as a sign of faith?
That I cannot do. But you must hear me and trust me.
Speak then. What do you wish?
I have come to save you from committing an evil unworthy of your heritage and your greatness.
What is this of which you speak?
Your decision to kill the white prisoners. You must rescind that decision, Nehru, or evil days will befall you and your people.
I suspect a ruse, Nehru. Heed not this unseen voice.
Listen carefully, Nehru. In return for your release of the white prisoners, I will grant you one wish. Name it, Nehru.
Nehru, listen to me.
Be still, Lumati. Hear me, unseen voice. Can you grant us a river that flows by our hidden city?
That he cannot do. You see, Nehru?
Is that what you most desire, Nehru?
Yes, to have a river that flows swiftly and with strength, so that can turn the wheels of our mills and provide power for other uses. That has been the desire of my people for many years.
That wish shall be granted, Nehru. But in return, the white prisoners must be safely conducted to their silver bird. And you must promise that you will no longer hinder the building of a highway through the mountains.
Nehru, this is madness. Do not pledge your word. Remember what it means, Nehru. A road through our sacred mountain, the end of our ancient civilization.
You are wrong, Lumati. Your civilization can continue in peace in this hidden valley, unmolested. What is your decision, Nehru?
My decision is...
death to the whites.
No, Lumati. I will pledge my word.
No, Nehru, I implore you, no.
I, Nehru, Supreme Chief of the Inca Nation, have spoken.
You have spoken well, O Chief.
Nehru, this is a ruse. I tell you, that voice is coming from the balcony. Wait, I shall show you. It is one of the white men.
Stay where you are, Lumati, if you value your life.
Lumati, we have naught to lose. I will give you all voice until the sun rises on the morrow to accomplish the miracle of creating a river. If within that time you fail, all the whites shall perish.
I accept, Nehru. Now you must do one thing. Disperse the guard in the courtyard so that I may be free to work this miracle unhampered.
You see, Nehru, it is a trick. A trick to leave the palace unguarded so that...
Enough, Lumati. Nehru has given his word. The request to dismiss the guard is a reasonable one. Give the signal for dismissal. Strike the gong. Do as I say. Strike it.
His ruse successful, Kent speeds back to join Editor White, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, and John Craig, the American engineer, on the bank of the rushing stream that runs underground through the Valley of Shadows. With only a few hours in which to create a river for the Incas, Kent's responsibility is great. En route to rejoin his friends, he ponders. Shall he, as Superman, alone make quick work of accomplishing the miracle, or is it best to do it another way? Finally, he reaches a decision. Fearful lest in his haste he might create a river that would overflow the Inca city, Kent decides to enlist the engineering skill of John Craig. Returning to the riverbank, he finds Perry White and Lois both too exhausted to move. Leaving them to regain their strength, Kent, Jimmy, and Craig retrace the underground course of the river to the giant waterfall.
Now, there's the waterfall straight ahead of us.
Let's get this straight, Kent. As I understand it, we have until tomorrow morning to divert the course of this underground river so that it flows by the Inca city.
That's right. The deal with Nehru is that in return for creating a river, which his people want so badly, all of us, including the engineers, will be escorted to safety, and the Trans-Hemisphere Highway can go through without further trouble.
That's a wonderful bargain. All we have to do now is perform a miracle.
Say, Mr. Kent, how'd you ever get to talk to Nehru without his calling the guards?
Nehru never saw me.
Gosh, how come?
Well, you know how high-ceilinged that council room is?
Sure, I remember.
There's a balcony at one end of it.
Yes, the balcony was screened by a gorgeous curtain woven of gold and silver thread.
Yeah, I remember that, too.
Correct, both of you. Well, I remained hidden behind that curtain on the balcony. Fooled him completely.
Gee.
Well, here's the waterfall where the underground river begins.
Curious phenomenon, isn't it?
I'll say it is. And very unpleasant to be tossed into, I know.
Now, Mr. Craig, here's our engineering problem. As you can see, the water thunders into that huge hole and then flows underground for 2 miles and comes to the surface where Lois and Mr. White are now.
And our job is to bring it up above ground and divert its flow so that it passes close by the Inca city.
Right.
Golly, I can't see how we can do that.
Nor can I at the moment.
Oh, surely Mr. Craig, an engineer, shouldn't be stumped by this problem.
Well, maybe not, Kent. But I admit that right now I can't figure out anything that would accomplish what we want with the tools at our disposal.
Gosh, then we'll lick.
Oh, wait, not so fast, Jimmy. Give Mr. Craig a chance to study this problem.
Kent, I'm sorry to let you down like this. And I'm afraid your confidence in me isn't justified.
Well, I think it is. I know your reputation as an engineer.
Well, that's all very well, but as I said, we have no tools to work with. Diverting a riverbed is in itself a simple problem, Kent. It's done every day all over the world.
Well, why can't we do it?
If you need someone to help dig or something like that, I'm willing to help.
Well, I'm sure you are, Jimmy, but that isn't all. We just lack everything. Proper tools, and most of all, explosives.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that.
Of course. Explosives are very important. In fact, indispensable.
Say, wait a minute. Explosives? You mean dynamite?
That's right, Jimmy.
Jimmy, it just dawned on me. I just remembered.
Remembered what?
I know. The dynamite the Inca warriors took out of the plane.
Yeah.
Dynamite out of the plane? What plane?
Mr. White's plane. He brought a few cases of dynamite down here with him.
Sure, he thought maybe he'd have to use it to rescue you engineers if you were trapped in a canyon or something.
Well, that's wonderful. Where is it now?
Yeah, that's what we've got to find out.
I think I know. You remember when those warriors captured us and brought us up here? They took a lot of stuff out of the plane and carried it through the tunnel.
That's right.
Well, the 2 Indians who were carrying the dynamite were walking right in front of Mr. Bronson and me. And I think I remember where they put it.
Where?
They put it in a small room off the tunnel about halfway from the exit.
Kent, there's the answer to our problem and our prayers. If we can get that dynamite, I'll show you how to divert this river.
Now, we're getting someplace. I'll get that dynamite.
You've got to get into the tunnel first.
Now, don't you worry about that. I'll manage it somehow. You and Jimmy go back to Mr. White and Lois. I'll join you as soon as I get the dynamite.
Okay.
Oh, but Mr. Kent, you lose a lot of time looking for it. I know just where it is. Don't you think I'd better go along with you?
Well, all right, Jimmy. That may be a good idea. Come along. See you later, Craig.
Right. I'll be all set when you get back.
Golly, hammering a rock against that stone tunnel door isn't doing any good.
Well, nobody seems to answer. I wonder what happened to Seba, the gatekeeper.
Probably asleep at the switch.
This is no time for jokes, Jim. Still no answer.
Say, do you think maybe there's a signal, like a certain number of knocks?
Could be, Jim. Wait. Last time I was here, the guard waved a torch 4 times, and then that big rock door rolled open. Let's try 4 knocks.
Can't lose anything.
Right you are. Here goes.
Nothing's happened yet.
Look. It's beginning to open. Look. Hey, see?
Yep. Those 4 knocks must have been the right... Oh, Mr. Kent.
What's the matter, Jim?
Look what's in the tunnel. We're sunk.
What has Jimmy seen in the half-darkness of the mountain tunnel? Is it something that will prevent them from getting the dynamite? Things are rushing to a startling climax, so don't miss a single episode. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
83 years ago, December 15th, 1941, Superman here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Have yourself a great day. We'll be back on Monday with more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.